r/AskReddit. Girls, what is the most obvious sign you gave to a guy and he didn't get it? Sat on his lap. He got up and found me a chair. Thanks, Andrew. Might have been me depending on age. My bad. Once I invited someone to take a bath with me, and like 3 weeks later they were like, "Wait, were you flirting with me? Lol." I missed something similar. In college my coworker was giving me a tour of our workstation and we passed the Picasso rug. She said, "Could you imagine being naked in it?" I answered, "It looks filthy." See, my wife and I would both think a rug is filthy and wouldn't want to roll around on it. Get someone who gets you. I asked my current boyfriend to sleep in my bed. He got in fully clothed and was shocked when I took mine off. He got it though. I took a friend who's a girl out to the bars to help her get over a bad breakup. I'm a dude. We both got absolutely plastered and ended up back at her place, a studio apartment. The only place to sleep was her bed, so that's where I laid down. She stripped down to her lingerie and laid really close to me, basically cuddling me. I laid there in my jeans and button shirt all night, lol. With my boyfriend, on our first date he didn't give me a kiss and left, and I just said, "What, no kiss?" And he just awkwardly laughed and walked away. I thought I blew it or something. Second date he asked me to his apartment. I asked if I could take my pants off since they were uncomfortable, and we laid on the bed watching a movie. I had my leg over his body and left leaning in close for a kiss, and he didn't kiss me. He finally kissed me when I was about to leave and was in the middle of talking when he did it. LMAO. Edit. He and I were talking about it and what was going through our minds during it. He told me that he didn't want to be rude and kiss me on the first date, and that he kind of walked away so quickly was because he was nervous. On the second date, we were actually going to a race, but it was cancelled, and since I was an hour in the city during the night, he invited me to his apartment. I was wearing jeans at the time and I didn't want to lay in his bed with jeans. My now fiancé told me he liked me, and I told him I wanted to get to know him. We went on a date, and at the end of the night we kissed and arranged a second date. I told him later that night that I liked him back. After a few days he messaged me, "But do you mean like as a friend, or do we like each other the same way? I'm sorry, but you have to spell it out for me. I don't want to get the wrong impression." Hey, give it to the man for getting straight to the point. And it worked. I'm a guy. I'll give you one from middle school. 7th grade me, talking to a bunch of kids on the last day of school, including a cute 8th grade girl who I had gym with. As I leave, she yells, "Hey, Jargon 832. I don't have your number," to which I reply, "Yay, I don't have yours either. Bye." I'm going to lie and say I instantly regretted it. Well, this happened to me as a guy. She was on my bed and looked at me dead in the eye and said, "People tell me I give great blowjobs." And I looked at her straight faced and said, "Nice, good for you." She had the most disappointed face I've ever seen a woman have. Jesus Christ, mate, if your dick is as thick as your head, she missed out on a huge opportunity. Me too, would have been a better reply. Not so much that he didn't get it, as that he was just very innocent and adorable. Back in middle school we were hanging out and I said, "If you were to kiss me right now, I wouldn't stop you." To which he opened his eyes wide and said, "What, really?" I nodded and he kissed me on the cheek and blushed. Nothing came of it, but years later he mentioned that he realized what I meant a few days after our hangout, and was so embarrassed, he assumed he had missed his chance. Girl I worked with, when I was 18 or 19, ran her finger up and down the button-up shirt seam, where the buttons are, said, "I always wanted to ride in a Mustang. I owned a classic one, 1965, and I was like, oh cool. Yeah, that'd be fun. I can give you a lift home after work if you want." And then I did, and she was all, "You want to come up and watch a movie?" And that's when I hit deep clueless nerd and said, I would, but I'm meeting some friends to play D&D. Yeah. Peak nerd. I'm not a girl, but many years ago a girl once told me she was a diagnosed nymphomaniac, that she absolutely needed to have sex when she was horny, and that she was horny right then, as we hung out alone together in my band's practice space which had a great big couch in it. I asked her questions about the psychology and then offered her a ride home. I figured it out days later when another girl told me how ducking oblivious I was. After a class in university, a girl who I had already pointed out to a friend I thought she was hot came up to me and said, "Your name's so and so, you're in my class, how did you get so smart?" I was stunned. Like a deer in headlights. I replied, "I watch a lot of TV." Why do I love this? Because I was brain in my head smart, not brain between my legs smart. I literally told him, "I think you're cute, we should date," and he didn't even blink. Fast forward 4 years and he texted me if I was serious back then. I said yes, then he felt like an idiot because he had a huge crush on me too. We are best friends now though. And girls think the subtle signs will work when shit like this doesn't even have a 100% success rate. I said to him, "I like you and I will go out with you," and he was like, "Cool, thanks." I took that as he didn't like me like that and just wanted to be friends. Fast forward a few months and I kissed him and he was like, "Whoa, you like me?" "Yeah, dumbus, I told you that." He thought I was just being nice to him. We're married now. Even being straightforward, they still don't get it. I'm a guy, but many moons ago as I was leaving her apartment late one night. "Girl, you don't want to spend the night?" Me, "Why?" "I live like 2 blocks from here." I went home. She was pissed. Now married almost 8 years. Is she still pissed to this day? He still lives 2 blocks away even after the marriage. Told the guy I liked, now my boyfriend, that I was single and was looking for a boyfriend, and he just went, "Oh, have fun. That's always difficult." Then later in the conversation I ended up calling him hot and boyfriend material. Yeah, bad joke I know, and he was like, "Haha, thanks." 3 hours afterwards he texted me and was like, "Wait, were you flirting with me?" Now we are dating, and I like to tease him about his constant obliviousness. I have had this space cadet moment of obliviousness before. The forehead smack of realization that occurs however long afterwards is the worst. Guy here. Sophomore year of college, me and this girl had an economics class where every week we had to take those little 10-question quizzes. One day we are walking out together and she goes, "I found all the answers to the quizzes on Quizlet. I'd send them to you, but I don't have your number." And I said, "Oh, they're on Quizlet, huh?" And walked off towards my next class. Talk about missing the forest for the trees. I'm not a girl, but the idiot guy. I had just met the best friend of my best mate's girlfriend. She got more physical throughout the night to a point where she was constantly touching me, and while we were at a strip club, her idea, she suggested we leave as my best mate and his girlfriend had disappeared. We were both a bit drunk at this point and decided to get a cab home. When the cab pulled up at her place she asked if I wanted to stay the night and she would drive me home in the morning. Me being the polar opposite of Stephen Hawking said, "Nah, it's fine, my place is only a few minutes away." Once I got back to my place the driver asked if I was gay and everything hit me at once. Damn, you know it's bad when the cab driver asks if you're gay. That's just another missed signal. Dude accidentally shot down 2 people that night. I was stranded in a hotel because my flight was cancelled for weather. I booty called the guy I figured was most likely to show up and conveniently lived nearby. First and only booty call of my life, so maybe I did it wrong, but he was not catching on. He showed up, I had a bucket of beers waiting, and we laughed and talked on the balcony for a while. I finally got my courage up and went inside, pushed the desk chair aside, and sat on the desk. He followed and sat in a chair across the room. I asked him to close the drapes. He walked past me and closed the drapes and went back to the chair. I suggested he take his shoes off. He did, in the chair. I suggested he move closer. He brought the chair. Maybe a bit closer than that. Total confusion on his face. OMG, will you please come here? He finally got it, but damn, it seemed like a lot of work for a guy with a reputation for being a ladies' man. I kind of figured come to my hotel room would have been sufficient. Married to him for 12 years now. So was he actually a ladies' man, or was he just friendly with women and therefore people assumed? Oh, he most definitely was a ladies' man. I think I caught him just as he was ready to be done with that wildlife. Right when my wife and I started talking, she invited me over to her house after telling me nobody was home. We were watching TV and she commented about how big and spacious the couch was and there's enough room for 2 people. I switched her for the small chair I was sitting in and I sat on the couch by myself. I eventually figured it out though. Ladies, the lesson to be learned here is if you wanna date a man, literally say to him I like you. I want to date you. Let's go on a date now. Because we can be dense.